Warning: the following program contains extreme coarse language and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is extremely advised.
Good evening, it's ADC. It's Talking Truth Thursday. And yeah, viewer discretion is extremely advised. Well, probably not. Our guest will be joining us shortly. And I don't think she's going to be bringing the heat of profanity like your boy ADC. You are watching the most censored show online. If you look at our subscribers on YouTube, you'll look at our messages on Twitter. It is a stalling, it is a muting, it is a censorship of the message. If you're seeing it, thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe across the board here on YouTube, Odyssey. Welcome to the new viewers on Kick. We're excited to launch on our channel on Kick. Can't talk. So welcome to our Twitch viewers, Odyssey viewers, Rumble viewers, Twitter viewers, and Facebook viewers, and YouTube viewers as well. So it is something that, well, you see the news today. Sports news we'll start out with here before our guest is joining us to talk more on the political side and the news side. But NHL comes down with a one-game suspension for Las Vegas defenseman Peter Angelo for his two-handed lumberjack chop on Leon Draisaitl. My thoughts are it should have been a minimum of 2 games. But with Darnell Nurse getting a one-game suspension for the instigator penalty in the final 5 minutes of the game, according to the rules, they had to match it with a one-game suspension for Peter Angelo. So going into Game 5 in Vegas tomorrow night, Vegas will be without Peter Angelo, and the Oilers will be without Darnell Nurse. So interesting developments there. NHL Players Safety Committee gets it wrong yet again. Elsewhere across the province, of course, the election is up and out and running. We've seen candidate forums happening. The UCP and current Premier Danielle Smith is using this platform and our public money to run her campaign. And all these announcements and all these changes that are happening under the guise of a campaign. And vote for the UCP and they'll provide you with this from the photo op, media op in Calgary. With the Flames and giving provincial money to billionaires to build a rink for millionaires to play in and the elite to watch, to today's announcement of seniors getting a 25% discount on something. Oh boy, what a gong show that is. And the incident there that happened also with the Premier that sparked a lot of reaction was the fact that there were protesters that showed up at one of her planned events, and they didn't like it. And I'm going, that's okay. You don't like it. You have done everything in your power. Jason Kenney prior to you did everything in their power to block any sort of outcry, any sort of voice of the province to get to you, holding all these conferences and press events to only press and only media credentialed. So you're being protected. So when we have non-violent protesters. I don't care what you're saying about the protesters being violent. They did not show violence outside of making their way onto the platform. And once they were there, she was whisked off to safety, which is the story that they got. But it's not like it was an attack or anything like that. Lot of skewing of the message there. And yeah, it's very interesting, the political landscape. And speaking of the political landscape, very pleased to introduce our guest tonight. She is a current well, she's a current member of the council in Fort McMurray. On leave, of course, because you can't be working while running, and now is an independent candidate for the 2023 Alberta election. Please welcome a. As she gets ready here, we'll let her get settled there, because it's don't want to jump in, but we've got Funky Banjoko, who is joining us, and Funky's going to talk about what it's like in Fort Mac, her experiences with council, what she's done so far with council, and her experiences just being a member of the global majority who moved to Canada and is now doing good work. So, Funky, we've got you now. You're still coming in. It's a little. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. My system is going in and out, but okay. I can hear you and I can see you. Hopefully, we stay that way.
That's good. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us on Talking Truth. And
thank you.
I guess like we had a brief conversation earlier today. Where did you want to start? On do you want to give a little bit about yourself before you went into politics?
Yes, I could do that. So again, thanks for introducing me. My name is Funky Banjoko. I was born in Nigeria. Did my up to my university degree in Nigeria, and since then I've been on the.
Oh, we lost Funky there. God, technology is just a beautiful thing. One of the things that say with this is because we're in rural area, and I know that Fort Mac is sometimes considered a urban center, but it's still rural. The internet is spotty at times, so there's been a push to make a high-speed superhighway, and I would love to see that come in at some point. And Funky has joined us again, and like just say that it's technology. We just go with the flow here. There's no issues there. But you were talking about coming from Nigeria before you unfortunately got cut off. Oh, and we're cut off again. Oh boy. So you're frozen there, and yeah, we'll see if we can get a better connection here. It's one of those things that, like I said, technology is not our friend tonight, but we'll work it out. If Funky can hear me, we can always connect straight audio if that's easier, because if the video isn't working, we can just do it through audio, and so we can we'll try multiple times here. We're gonna get the conversation going, because I'm very interested to hear. I've seen some of the videos, the amazing videos that she's done so far in the campaign. Amazing video that she did for her actually running for the council in Fort Mac. So that's something awesome there. And I'm going to see if I can find that, because that video was tremendous. And there's just the aspect there that Funky's done some great work so far. Her announcement for the campaign was brilliant. Like I said, she's doing things differently. So that is when I got word that she was running as an independent, I was very excited. As you know, here at Talking Truth, we want to promote independent candidates as well as third-party candidates, because we believe that that is the key to success in the key to success in gaining change. Because I don't believe we're going to have any change from that sort of aspect. So I'm just going to find one of the videos here. We're just going to play a snippet of a video that she shared from one of the events recently, and then we're going to see if we can get Funky to come on in another way, figure this out. And yeah, so we're just going to click on here. And we'll share our screen so you guys can see. Oh, and we've got Funky rejoining us here. Let's see if we can get this going. And
thank you.
No problem.
Please just give me a moment. Let me use.
Yeah, if you want to just use straight audio and not the video, if that's what's slowing down the computer, feel free to do that. We can just go by voice. That's not a problem. Again, like I said, technology is always a fun thing. So we'll let Funky see if we can figure that out. She will join us at some point, I promise you. If it's not tonight, we will rebook and have this conversation down the line. But like I said, she's done some amazing work in the Fort McMurray area. She's got a huge track record with her experience that she's coming to, educated in supply chain. So, you know what, one of those struggles that we have here in Alberta, of course, but in the Western nations, so across North America, is the supply chain issues. So having someone who understands supply chain is a very big resource for us. Yeah, so like I said, there's some good things happening here. She's doing great work. And once things are settled, I promise we'll have Funky on momentarily. It's live TV, live show. It's always fun. So no worries. Funky, can you hear me?
Very well. Can you hear me? Can you?
I can hear you. Yeah. If you want to turn off your camera and just do audio, we can do that as well.
No,
Whatever's
I'm
easier.
Be good now. We
Okay.
switch the equipment. This should be stable.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be.
And just have to move your heads. Yeah,
okay.
Like that.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
We did it. Yes.
There we are.
Can do it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great
Thank
job
you.
On the fly. So it's fantastic.
Yes.
So we'll go back. I'll use my ADHD brain that is focused. So you were talking about you moved from Nigeria to Canada.
Yes. And Oh no, in between, I actually did some my professional study in England. I've been
Okay.
chartered of purchasing and supplies in England,
Yep.
and then lived in Chicago for like 8 years,
In
and
Chicago.
Toronto for 2 years,
Okay.
and then it got smaller. I've been in Fort McMurray since 2011.
Excellent.
Yes.
And what made you go to Fort McMurray?
I've always worked in oil and gas. Please, I'm trying to send this link to family and friends, so I want to post it on
No,
my
no problem
Facebook.
at all. You do whatever you need to do. We're, like
I
I
just
said,
want people to join.
we want as many people to join us and to be able to share their stories about you or questions that they have.
Yes,
Like I said, this is one of these things. It's very important for me. With when we started the Talking Truth, one of the focuses was to ensure that we look at the broken electoral system that we have in both Canada and the United States, and to focus on an independent and third party candidates to bring the change into our political system.
yes. Thank you.
So you lived in Chicago.
Yes,
I saw, doing a little research, your son is a Division 1 athlete.
yes, he is. He
He's a
is.
very handsome man, by the way. You're I saw the Christmas photos and the holiday photos you had of the family. You have a beautiful family.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and my Fort McMurray story is amazing even to me. And Fort McMurray has been a place where uh, I've enjoyed lots of opportunities. Apart from the economic benefit, I've met lots of awesome people. It's been home for us, and though sometimes people are surprised, but I think my kids love it here. My daughter did her degree in England. She's currently working with ACFN, and so she's living here, and she loves her job. They love her there. So that's that. My son is currently at Princeton, finishing up in about 2 weeks' time, hopefully, and he keeps coming back as well. So we are so well grounded here, well established here. This is home by all standard for us. So I was saying I did my professional study at the Institute of Purchasing and Supplies in the UK, and then I ended up living in Chicago for 8, Toronto for 2, and I've been here now. I'm going to be 12 years here, coming up pretty soon in July. So that's, in a nutshell, that's how I got here.
That,
Originally, I'm a supply chain professional. That's my background. And that's what actually brought me here. I was in Shell, Nigeria for 13 years. So I've always worked in the oil and gas sector. So it was easy for me to be able to blend in here and professionally. And some of my friends also relocated. Believe me, we have a lot of us from Shell Nigeria in Calgary, in Edmonton, and also here.
okay.
So that's a short version of my journey to Fort Mac.
No, that's fantastic. And I was just saying before, when you were coming back, about the supply chain, and right now with the issues with COVID and with the supply chain issues, that is a very needed expertise, not
Thank
only in
you.
Alberta but across
Glo-
across the world right now. That is
Globally,
the
yes.
biggest struggle there is supply chain. So having your
Yes.
expertise, I hope people are reaching out to you to gain some of that expertise.
Yeah, so I've been mentoring quite a number of young students and people who just started in the profession. And I still also I'm a contract strategist for one or two companies locally. Right now, I'm with DTL on the side, apart from being a counselor. So yeah, so people have been reaching out, and yes, there's a lot of challenge within the supply chain post-COVID, and so they is beginning to become very important that companies uh, utilize supply chain management professionals to navigate the difficulties, the delays, and the strategies that you need to have the materials and contracts in place where, when you need them at the right
Right.
cost. Yeah. So
Uh,
yes.
that's absolutely tremendous. It's fantastic.
Yes.
So when we're looking at the work that you've done so far for Fort McMurray, you were a counselor for what, 1 year?
Right now, 18 months.
Okay, so almost 2 years.
Yes.
And in that time, what has been your experience working with council, working with the mayor?
It's been fantastic. Well, I love what I do. I look forward to each day. I go for events, connecting with people, engaging people, reaching out, and making myself accessible to people. And one of the what makes my day beautiful is when I'm able to help any one person, ranging from soft issues, for instance, snow removal and all that, to critical issues. It makes my day when I'm able to help somebody, help a woman, help a child. And so it's been a beautiful experience. And I would say that we currently have a set of counselors who are really keen to work for the city and for the region. So people are working hard and giving their all, and that's also good because we are all, when you work with people who are as engaged and as busy, as ready to work as yourself, then it makes it easier for us. So it's been so far so good.
Fantastic. And
Yes.
so I guess what made you do the choice to take the leap from going? I mean, because a lot of people wouldn't even want to do the council position, let alone jump into political, like into the provincial political landscape. What made you make that decision? Was it a certain event? Was it looking at what sort of representation that you had locally, or something else?
Yeah, so to run for council, it was people saw me there before I saw myself there. That's to sum it up because I got the suggestion like maybe 6, 7 years before I even came out to say, okay, I'll try it. So I think it's also similar for the MLA position. Um, Lots of people reaching out to me, asking me, why don't you go forward and just be the represent us at the province level? And it took me a while because I was reluctant. One, I just, it was like we just finished the election. So, and campaigning is not the easiest thing to do. So I was a bit lazy about it. So I was thinking, okay, maybe somebody will step up that would do what we are expecting in this region. There has been a gap, or the expectations have not been met from what we hear, from what I heard. But after due consideration, I decided, okay, why not me? Because initially I was thinking, why me? And having worked on council, I have seen where the expectations have not even been met from the council's perspective. Uh, that because the council and the MLA have to work together to achieve most of the set goals that we have for our region. And so, including some of the people that I currently work with, they actually felt I would be a good fit. And so I decided, okay, I will do it. It's a call to serve. And like I always say in my slogan, it's been my honor to serve. And you can imagine my journey. And sitting here, my entire family is so proud of me. And so taking it further, I can imagine what the honor will be for them, our friends, and even colleagues that I've met in Fort McMurray, people who I've worked with. I've worked in a lot of different countries, a lot of different companies, of course, a few countries as well. So, so I'm ready for it. I checked, and I think I'm ready, and I'm blessed a lot with good health, which I'm always grateful for, because sometimes I run around and I'm amazed. I wake up the following day. Once I can get my 8 hours, then I'm ready. So why not?
Hey, why not? And that is the key for politics when you're
Yes,
starting is just jump in. I
yes,
mean, we're not going to have any sort of change, and I guess it's like you have to ignore the fear or ignore the anxiety or ignore the thoughts of
talk.
what's going to happen and just jump in and go, okay, we're going to do whatever we can, and we're going to try and help as many people as we can. And
That's the spirit.
it's funny because there's a gentleman there on just saw it on Twitter. His name is his username is Peter for TNA, and
Okay,
so he's a says that he's a YMM, so a Fort Mac fire survivor. And I just want
okay.
to share the screen here and let you see what Peter had to say about you and about the election, because I thought this was quite interesting that a lot of people weren't looking at that. So I'm just going to share the screen here and let you see that. So right there, it says, "Wouldn't it be something if the fate of the election depended on an independent MLA named Funky? It could happen, as Councillor Funky Banjoko is a force to be reckoned with, and her willingness to work only in Fort Mac's best interest will resonate locally." So
Oh wow.
Peter shared that, and I'm going, it was a great story in the Fort Mac today, and just
Yes,
going, he was tweeting directly at one of the political pundits here
oh,
going,
awesome.
this could be the election, because we're looking at how um, close it is. And I mean, you see how many polls that are happening, and
Yes,
that, and they're saying that it's anywhere, like depending on which poll company you're looking at, it's
yes,
anywhere between a 46, 45, 40, 47, 44.
yes.
One of them's got 50, but I don't believe that one. But what it looks like right now, and when I was talking with, I've had Green Party candidate on, as well as some of the Alberta Party candidates, and I said, ultimately, I'm not, I wouldn't be sad if Rachel Notley and the NDP won the election and Rachel Notley became premier. I just don't want Rachel Notley to be premier with absolute power and having that majority government. I don't think
Mhm.
majority governments are working. So I would think having yourself or other third party candidates being elected to, I would say, would be a level of accountability
Yes,
to be able to ensure that you're not just getting stuff run through. And with yourself, looking at who your competition is. I'm not going to, I mean, I've said enough bad things about the UCP, so I'm not going to take on Tony Yao at this point. He knows how I feel about him. But I just find it very interesting that you, it's basically left open for you to take,
yes.
because it's the forgotten thing. Like, okay, so they had Tony, and then he decided, no, he's not going to do it. Then they brought in the guy who's already disqualified, and then they disqualified him again and brought Tony back. And then the NDP just threw in some young lady with
Yes,
oh, I want to join politics. I'm like, that's great. What do you bring? How are you going to bring something as a voice for Fort Mac? And Tony doesn't have a voice for Fort Mac because he's too busy in Mexico when we're battling COVID. And this other person doesn't, I mean, she can try her hardest, but at this point, we need strong voices. We need strong willed people that were willing to go and use their voice and use that seat at the table to speak on behalf of your constituents. Funky, is that what people of Fort Mac could see from you?
I thank you for that. I think it is clear that at least those who have watched me, who have seen my work, I think my work speaks for itself. I have my own voice. And when somebody said, why independent? I said, because yes, I can stand on my 2 feet. I don't need to be somebody's yes man. At this point, we need somebody, we need a candidate who is a YMM, who is an RMWB candidate. And that's who I am. We need somebody who's going to speak up. We need somebody who can stand alone. We need somebody who can stand for RMWB. And we need somebody who has a strong voice, and that's me. I've been described as somebody whose voice can be drowned in any gathering, regardless of the number or the caliber of people. I cannot be intimidated. And so since I got to, and also the friendliness that is difficult not to embrace. So in my bid to make my point, I'm not going to be rude or mean, but I'm going to make my point, and I'm going to work hard. And I'm so blessed with a lot of energy. So I will wake up and go every day. And that's what I've been doing. Since I got to, and I have a slogan, and I didn't need anybody to help me fix it. It just came to me as I was getting ready that people are my reason. The people of this region are my reason for running and for bringing myself forward to serve. I look at us as people who work so hard, and luckily I came here to work. So I have firsthand experience of long hours of working, of raising my kids by myself here. And then the few days off, we have to look for stores. We have to look for entertainment. We have to travel 4 or 5 hours. And we don't have enough of our medical needs can be met here. Mental health, we are almost in crisis as a region. So that people of this region can expect me to work for them, for the interest of the people. And I think they know. So since I got to council, most and I think I can say all of what I've done are centered around people. Transportation, bringing back the residency program for student doctors so we can have more doctors and people can be able to have their medical needs met here. Not only doctors, nurses, medical workers, generally speaking, taxi services, safety, affordability, and options, opening us up just like other regions and other cities. Even if Uber can't come here, we can do rideshare and things like that. Those are works that I've been working. Those are things, issues that I've worked on when I got elected to council. And going to province, my focus hasn't changed. It's gonna be the people. It's gonna be how to better improve the quality of life of those who live in this region. And some of what I aimed to do can only be achieved with a strong leadership, strong voice at the province level. And that's why I decided, okay, I can do this. And I don't know anyone else who has the experience, the connection, and everything to work with mayor and council and bring demands and voices and work cooperatively, collaboratively with the mayor and council. I don't know that person at this moment that is better positioned than myself. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm muted. I'm
Thank
seeing
you.
it's all flashes on the screen here. So thankfully, the technology tells me I'm muted. When I'm a guest, it doesn't say anything or whatever. If I'm on my own, people are like watching and going, "Why didn't you say anything?" Yeah, I muted myself. I had to do a whole show over one time. Anyway, point being was the fact that one of the strengths of this province is the rural municipalities, and to have a good relationship with the, like you said, with the mayor and with the council, because even though a lot of the stuff is being directed by the provincial governments, the implementation of those programs has to come from the local side. So if you're coming from representing Fort Mac and Wood Buffalo, that is different than someone who's just been parachuted in to whatever area they think is an easy win, and then just going and representing whoever. Like, I really don't like party politics. I don't think party politics, I mean, they don't work anymore. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we're seeing from the two, I call them the duopoly of the two-party system, is the fact that you're not voting for your local candidate, you're voting for the Rachel Notley NDP or the Danielle Smith Take Back Alberta UCP, and that's scary as heck in regards to what's coming there. I noticed that you're.
Go ahead. Thank you so much for. I like that duopoly instead of monopoly, and I believe this will teach or will be a wake up call for them, because I think they got to a complacent level and assume that once it's a U or an N or something, especially a U, then that's it. Once you're on that ticket, you can go to bed. It's not going to be so. So people have shown that they want a candidate who is going to perform and not somebody who is just coming because they have that umbrella. And so there's this level of comfort that comes with that. So I have come to challenge the status quo, and I am so impressed at how many people are ready for that change. It's amazing.
And that's not what, this is why I wanted to do the program, and especially why I wanted to have you on, is to talk about that. More people don't understand. Like, all I hear from either side is, oh, we can't vote in the NDP because, oh God, Rachel Notley screwed us up for 4 years. Oh, we can't vote in Danielle Smith because she's got the right-wing lunacy party, and I agree with both sides. However, I don't agree with this. They say, well, you can't vote strategically. You have to vote for one to stop the other. I'm going, but if you're voting for one to stop the other when you really don't believe in that party, isn't that a strategic vote?
That's it. It's been a mess, and I hope we make the change that we need. And none of these parties would prioritize Fort McMurray over Calgary or Edmonton or Red Deer. So even if it's 4 years that I serve, I want to leave that legacy. I want to leave that name. I want to make that mark and let them know, yeah, we exist and we produce the wealth of this province and the wealth of this nation. We shouldn't be last on their list. So I am there to work for my region. I don't want to be buried in the politicking and pleasing the big fellow. I just want to go and do my work.
And you were saying about you don't want to be politicking, and we talked about earlier about, you said you've been there for a number of years, so you were there for the Fort Mac fires.
Yes, I was here.
You had to deal with that as like. I just can't imagine. I mean, I'm in central Alberta, so the smoke came down, but it was not at that point. What Do you think that how they responded was the right way to do it? Do you see a similar delay right now with the current government in how they're dealing with those fires? And is there an idea that you could bring to the table that could help with alleviating some of the concerns for the people that are caught in these fires?
Thanks for that. I think where there are challenges, my attitude is where there are challenges, then there are opportunities. There's opportunity for the government, especially at the province level, to improve how they manage fires generally. And my approach will be to be proactive and not reactive. And I think the best bet will be to engage the experts in the field. We have a very good, effective, hardworking fire chief in this region who is ready to work, who has men and women who are working with him. But we need to be more proactive rather than reactive. So I don't know how much engagement or collaboration is going on between province and himself. I think that can improve. During the fires, generally speaking, I think most of what I remember are the positive parts of Canada, because I come from maybe a country where maybe the response wouldn't have been that great. Having said that, Canada is the other countries of the world are looking at Canada as a big brother, just like the States, America, right? So we are expected to do better. We are expected to be more proactive. We are expected to keep our citizens safer than we did in 2016. One, and if you remember, I think I mentioned earlier on, it seems as if we are last on the list or last to be considered, even though we bring so much to table in terms of economy. So that has to change. They need to look at us as you need to feed and protect the cow, not just milk the cow. So that's a different discussion on its own. It's a major subject. But having said all that, I would also want to commend the people, the citizens of Canada, the citizens of Alberta. When we evacuated, I had to go to Calgary, and the kind of love, the kind of giving that I saw in Canada is incredible. It challenged me, even as a Christian. It was challenging for me to see that people opened their homes, opened their kitchen, opened their basement, opened their wallet, stores, everywhere. I think it is something I will forever be grateful for those individuals, the companies, the stores that gave us. It was amazing. It's something to be proud of as Canadians. I was really, really touched by the kindness that I got, that my family got, my friends, everybody. And so I must say that when I remember the 2016 fires.
Well, and we're remembering the 2016 fires, and like you said, that is a lot of. There was a lot of goodwill. There was a lot
Yes,
of um, collaboration. It was that event that everyone came together, and
yes,
it was we were a province. We were like I know I worked for the Athletic Park Association here. We were looking at doing fundraisers. We contacted the sports clubs to try and like to get relief and that sort of thing.
yes.
And I know there was how many truckloads of merchant or not merchandise, but of supplies that were driven to the evacuation centers in Edmonton, in
It
Calgary.
was it was
Uh,
amazing.
and so when we're looking at that, we look at how good um, how loving our province was.
Yes.
And my good friend is Pastor Marco St. Marie at the Rimby United Church, and Pastor Marco will always tell me that the church is just a building. It's the people inside it that is the church, and what when we're talking about like you said about being Christian, and technically I'm Christian, but it's a struggle right now with Christianity in how it's being weaponized by certain individuals. And when they're talking about this is what Jesus was doing, and I'm going, what you need to understand is Jesus was about taking care of society and
Yes.
about loving people, and not about hate. Like how we figured out that we should use the Bible as a weapon is beyond me. I don't get it. I understand because it's money and power, and it's a different mindset when it comes to that. But
Yes.
when we're looking at like that heartwarming story you're telling me, about Canada being the Canada that we were all taught when I was younger,
Mhm.
of being that caring place and being that compassionate place. We've
Yes.
lost that. We need to gain that again. Um, you brought up you have a very strong interest in mental health
Yes.
and working with mental health. I do as well. I'm actually
Oh.
on the board for AHS, as
Oh.
one of the directors for the addictions and mental health. I jumped on there as an advisory because I wanted to have a voice. I wanted to be able to see, because I'm seeing what has happened during the pandemic. I'm seeing what had happened to people, and a lot of people are just feeling, they're feeling lost. They're feeling left out. They're feeling abandoned. And like you say, when we're looking at politically, it's a focus on Calgary, it's a focus on Edmonton, it's a focus on Red Deer,
Yes.
but Fort Mac is being ignored. And Fort
Later.
Mac has the same, depending on the time of year, has the same population, if not more, than a Red Deer or a Lethbridge.
Yeah.
I did, when I was in commercial radio, I actually ran the sales office in High Level, so I know about the area. My wife was a teacher at Jean d'Or Prairie, on the indigenous lands. And I did events at Red Earth Creek. So knowing that area, knowing the north, and basically it's like the west of Fort Mac. If people don't understand with Alberta, when you go Grand Prairie, there's north of Grand Prairie. Like people think, oh well, we get to Grand Prairie, oh that's it. And I'm going, no, you go to Grand Prairie, that's a major center, and then you drive another 6 hours north, and that's where you are. So, well, not where you are, but that's the High Level, and the oil and gas, with
Yes.
very limited resources there. But then you're going, like when you're saying your major hospital, or if there's any sort of issue, you have to go to Edmonton, and that
Yes.
is a 6 hour, if good traffic, sort of
Mhm.
travel for you.
Yes.
Um, do you think that this, like right now, we're seeing the commercials? I know I did not agree with any of the stuff that they did, but they did a agreement with TELUS to do the TELUS Health, as the online. And they've got a 1-800 number to call for your if you're feeling. I think that's okay, as a stopgap solution,
Mhm.
but what would your idea be for proper mental health in your area?
Well, we have a lot of work to do. So we are almost in crisis when it comes to access to mental health needs. Even the major hospital in Fort McMurray, we have, I am close to one of the doctors who is close to being burned out. He does 12 hours the day. He doesn't do much. He does like 10 hours a day. And sometimes he has to do 14 hours. We need help. We need more hands. Okay, right now, it's more difficult for healthcare workers to be able to get licensed to practice, I believe, in Abada. And then that means in RMWB, we are going to be, we are low on the list. So when internationally trained doctors, internationally trained nurses, when they come here, they have a barrier. They have to go through a lengthy process, which is sometimes almost unnecessary. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say I know what is needed, but it doesn't seem to be okay for a doctor who is trained in England to wait 18 months to be able to get a license, even if it's to shadow for some time before they can become fully on their own. So that's one part. We don't have enough. We need to get enough workers. We need to get more workers here. And I moved a motion that passed that we should go back and restart or reestablish the residency program for doctors. So whether they are trained in University of Alberta, University of Toronto, or locally in Canada, or internationally trained doctors, so that we can bring them here and let them, there's a program they go through before they can become full-fledged doctors. And even right now, after this motion was passed, Mayor Sandy Bowman wrote to the province of Alberta. We are still waiting. That program hasn't restarted, and they haven't even given us green light that so that we can know when that will start. So that's one area that we need to address. And then some of the main, one of the experiences I've had is I've worked at the Bobby E. Wright Mental Health Center on the south side of Chicago. That was where I actually worked for about 4.5 years. So I have worked with this population before. Some of the people who had mental health challenges as a result of some fundamental issues that we need to address, the root causes. Sometimes it's poverty, sometimes it's substance use and things like that. We need help to address those root causes. So I'm big on poverty reduction in this region. The poverty reduction plan that might work in Calgary might not work here. The cost of living here is much higher. That's a different subject. And also, for those who are going through, that are dealing with substance abuse, we need to address that. We need to get them help. In the rural area right now, for people to get the mental health support, the government of Alberta, I won't say we at this point, the government of Alberta is not giving enough support to the rural. And sometimes the indigenous peoples have to look for funding to help our residents in the rural area. There's just so much that we need to do, and we need to act quickly. It seems as if everything has been on reactive mode. We need to change that to being proactive. We're almost in crisis with mental health support in our rural. And same here. So we need to look at those. So I would engage the experts. I will engage the indigenous communities, indigenous peoples. We can also, I've been in full contact and engaging the indigenous people. There might be a better solution using the indigenous style or the method that is known to the people. So sometimes it looks like we are saying, this is how I want to help you, without engaging the person that needs the help. So we need to work collaboratively and look for holistic approach to mental health management, to substance abuse, to poverty. And then that's when we'll begin to solve this problem. And to also make sure we get the workers here.
Exactly. And like you said, we go back to the looking at what the province is doing here, and all this stuff is behind the scenes and very much in the dark about when we're looking at harm reduction. It's not harm reduction, it's forced substance Basically, you're looking at a full dry out facility. You're no choice in the matter.
Yes.
I like that point that you said about reaching out to the indigenous population. I firmly believe the indigenous people should be the ones leading us. Number one, it is their land. That
Yes.
is what the first thing that people need to understand is we're all settlers on the land of the indigenous people.
Yes.
And people are like, well, no. I said, no. You need to get past the whitewashed history that we were taught here in Canada. That's the one thing that being a white Canadian that I can really be speak on frustration about is the
Yes.
fact that I didn't learn a real history of our country. It
Mm,
was very much I call it a whitewashed history.
mm.
That was very much yes, they would mention things that happened, but it wasn't necessarily, and there was always a justification of why it happened. It's like trying to justify residential schools.
Mm-hmm.
I firmly believe there's no justification for a residential school. That is basically a group of individuals, and a mindset was trying to commit genocide and wipe out an entire culture. But
Yes.
um, we're not going to get to that conversation because I believe that, like I said, we need to have the indigenous peoples lead us. And unfortunately, what in my experience with some of the groups, um, it's like anywhere where the wrong people are in charge and the wrong
Yes.
people that want to lead, they want to lead because they want power and they want money and control. Very similar to what we have for a premier. The premier is
Yes.
not there to do any good work. Either the person she replaced or the person who's there. She's there for power and control.
Yes.
And once you don't have the power and control, then you're not going to. Why would you do the job?
Mm-hmm.
And so, if any of the current cabinet or the people that were in cabinet that are no longer in cabinet, you don't see those people representing their communities anymore because they don't have any sort of
Interest.
stake in the game or
Yes.
interest.
Yes.
So, when you're talking about representing Fort Mac and representing working with um, collaborating with people.
Yes.
I'm going to bring up another person's name. Um, I'm a love or hate with this individual, but Brian Jean is very much connected to Fort McMurray.
Yes.
How has your relationship been with? Do you have a relationship with Brian Jean? And if you win your seat and he wins his seat,
Yes.
do you see a synergy that you guys can come up with to represent Fort Mac the way that people want to see it?
Thank you. I think I'm gonna win. So does it? I think I'm gonna win. So, and I know Branjin. I mean, we've met. We've had instances where we would discuss, and I have respect for him, and I want to believe that the feelings are mutual, and I will be able to work with Branjin for sure, as long as we are working for the interest of this region. I, I have no reason not to. So I am prepared to work with him, and I think he knows, I think he will be able to work with me as well. As a counselor, we've had instances where we we have to discuss. We've met sometimes when we are in that meeting and we are in the legislative building. He meets with us when we are meeting the ministers, and I don't miss any meeting. As long as I'm there, I'm going to be there. And I think I've attended all, and all the RMA, the meetings, and most of the time I'll be there. So he knows me well. He knows I'm gonna do my work. I respect him. He's a more of a global person. He's doing his own thing, uh, but I respect him too because I think he speaks his truth, and he will speak up anywhere. So that I like about him, and so I think we have that in common. I think uh, I think I have to begin to look at how I'm going to work with branching.
That's
That's the truth.
I love it. Like it was said, well, when we were with having the technical difficulties, I was going to show the video, but there's a video there that you were had a event for your campaign,
Yes.
and who was speaking at that event? They were saying lots of great things to introduce you, and the one thing I did notice is you have fantastic looking T-shirts.
Thank you.
And are those part of the campaign? And can people buy those shirts?
Somebody in my team actually sponsored the t-shirts. So
Awesome.
they got me uh, 50 t-shirts, I believe. Somebody, one of the generous fellows decided, okay, during my council campaign, I had some nice t-shirts, but I think this is of better quality. And if anyone wants one, I think I'm down to about 6 that is left out of
Okay.
what we got. So I have to agree with you. They're nice.
And they were made in Fort Mac, is that correct?
I don't know exactly where they were made, but the artwork certainly
The
was.
artwork was done in Fort Mac, so
Yes,
you
yes,
had a local
I
artist
believe
that did the
so.
artwork.
Yeah, I believe so.
No,
I
that's
believe, but
fantastic. No,
they are a gift for me, but I believe so.
I love it. Like I do merchandise, like, and we'll at the end there I'll show some of the stuff that we're offering now. But so when I
Oh,
see something that is really nice, like Dr. James McCosis and Anthony, his husband, they were on. James, Dr. James is a amazing doctor here in the province,
okay.
but we my wife got a chance to meet them because they were on the Amazing Race Canada and won the Amazing Race Canada. We
Oh,
have they had shirts, and my wife's like, I'm going to buy the shirt, and it's a caricature of both of them, the beautiful portrait of them and their indigenous language and the proceeds were going to build the I believe it was one of the education centers on
nice.
in their um, uh, area where they have their house, and so we bought that, and I love it, and it's great. I'll wear it, and it's fun. But that was the first thing I thought when I saw your shirt. I'm going, that's like that's like the James and Anthony type thing. So it was very
Thank
good.
you. I
And
wish you would wear mine.
well, hey, we can work something out. We'll
Nice.
talk we'll talk offline on that.
Yes, let's do
So
that.
when you're looking at um the campaign, like when people say like you're a rock star, and you were interviewed for Black History Month, and you were representing you're representing the people of the global majority,
Yes.
representing Fort Mac, but also representing your culture. um
Yes.
does that how does that make you feel, being known as like the rock star candidate out of Fort Mac?
Honestly, um, it's so humbling. It's amazing. And it's such a honor. It's such a joy. And I think I always say jokingly that if the kids and youths of Fort Mac can vote, I don't need to campaign. I do not need to campaign. And so when they come to me, young kids, teenagers, they want a selfie with me. How cool is that? I love it. I love it. And I was okay. I think um, during my campaign launch, I was talking with someone during the kickoff. I said, the kind of love that I have been shown in this community, I better walk my behind for the entire place. It's amazing the kind of belief and you know the little or the much that I have done, and then the fact that I'm there physically too, I think people appreciate it so much, and it only makes me feel challenged that I have to keep up the good work. I have to do more, because to whom much is given, so much is expected. I think I have to perform to the very end, as long as I serve in this region. That's how it makes me feel. That's how it makes me feel. It's scary to get this kind of love and support. And so it only pumps me up, pushes me to use all that I have to serve. And luckily, I'm blessed physically. I am blessed with good health, and I don't take that for granted as well. So I guess God must have created me on a Monday morning.
So you
Knowing
had
that
a
I
lot of
will
work.
need all the energy. So I have to conclude that I have so much good health, so much energy, and so much love. I have to continue to serve. That's how it makes me feel.
I love it. And the good part is, so when you're talking about the young people that are, like you said, if the youth could vote, you wouldn't have to
I'll
run
go to
again.
bed.
So if you don't win
Oh no.
in this election, would you run again in 2027?
I'm gonna win now, and I'm gonna run later.
Okay, so you'll run again, and then you'll have their vote.
I will. Oh, that's true. Oh,
See,
that
they'll
would
be
be
old enough to vote.
awesome.
So,
That would be awesome.
and then there's talk about trying to lower the voting age to 16. So it
So
might even
we
just
can
grow
win.
even more and more people to be. You'll have a Team Funky that is just growing leaps and bounds, which is great.
That's true. That's true.
So we've almost out of time here. What
Yes.
is is there anything else you wanted to say to the people of the province or people across North America, around the world, wherever they're watching, in what's the next step for you going into the 29th of May?
So thank you all, everyone that is watching. And I want to appreciate you, Darren, for making this happen despite the difficulty with technology. For people in RMWB, this is our chance to vote in the change. We can no longer have leaders who are not ready to work. I have offered myself to work, and I'm going to be focusing on the issues. Most of us know what the problems are. I'm not here to talk about what the problems are. I'm going there to work to resolve the issues around childcare. This is a young community of people who are newly married, almost married, or getting married soon. Childcare is important. We need to have quality childcare providers. We need to have childcare workers provided for so they can give us the kind of service that we need. And those who are the owners of childcare, the government, province, you should expect me to support you to succeed, set them up for success. And I'll be looking at the majority. I'm not going to be working for 2 or 3 childcare providers. I will be working with all of them to see how we can support them so that they can support our population. So you can expect a change in the childcare. We shouldn't be giving cost of living allowance to people who have so much money but not give to childcare workers. Minimum wage can't work for childcare workers. I'm going to serve the indigenous people, the first people. This shouldn't even be a campaign point, but unfortunately it is. It is their due honor. I will be working with them. Mental health, their own care in the region. It's actually difficult for people like me, immigrants like me, to see that there are some rural areas where there is no clean water. It's unbelievable. It shouldn't be happening in Canada. This is happening in RMWB. you can expect me to work for these issues. I'm going to collaborate both at the province level or at the federal level, whatever level, to bring the resources that we need here. I'll be working on how we can enhance commerce. People should be able to buy their red shirt here. Students should be able to shop here. People travel all over the world, but we shouldn't have to travel for back to school shopping. No, we need to do better. I will be working to support improving our road network. And I will be proactive. I don't want us to wait till when we are having crisis before we deal with mental health, like I talked about. We need to engage the stakeholders and make change happen. So these and many more you can expect. And I don't have all the answers. I will continue to engage the community, to engage people in the region, to engage leaders, to engage council, mayor, and ensure that we effectively bring the change that we need in our MWB. So check me out on my website, funkybanjoko.com, funkybanjoko.com. Read about me. I have the interest of the students. I have the interest of youths. They need entertainment. I have 2 children of my own. I know the needs. I engage them. And for youths around RMWB, I'm going to be doing a youth engagement. Please watch out for details on my Facebook page and on my website. I need to work with the youths. They are the future. So I'm not just running for older folks. I need to carry the young people along. And you can reach out to me at any time, 587-644-0224, 587-644-0224. And it's my honor to serve you all. People are my reason.
Vote you might get calls in the middle of the night.
Funky Banjoko, for the good of the region. For the good of the region. Funky Banjoko. Thank you.
No problem, Funky. Thank you. And yes, you can find her phone number. I'm not going to put it on here because we don't need international calls. But yes, it's funkybanjoko.com. You can find her on, and all the links to the Facebook, the Instagram, and like I said, the email and her phone number if you want to reach out and discuss those sorts of things. Yes. Funky, thank you very much for taking the time, and good luck in all you do, and please keep us posted. You always have a soapbox here to share whatever you need to do.
Thank you, and I hope I get to come on the show maybe the last Thursday before election. And if you don't have a full hour, I can do 15-20 minutes. It's been great talking.
Absolutely. We're looking at, because of the fact that our government doesn't want to give any of the other leaders a space, I wanted to get representation from the 3 independent parties as well as you to see, and maybe on the after the debate between Notley and Smith, we'll have people come on and have our own debate and talk about it and have a reaction and that sort of thing, and then pros and cons of what happened and that. So we'll keep you posted on that, but you will, like I said, you're always welcome to come on, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Funky.
Have a lovely rest of the week.
You too. And that was Funky Banjoko, funkybanjoko.com, and you can find all information on her website at funkybanjoko.com, and check out the Facebook page. It's got the latest videos for her campaign, as well as some of the old videos from the council, and that was amazing what she did when she ran for council, actually. Nice promo video done there. Like you can see all across the board, somewhere, there's my finger, there we go. So you can like, subscribe, smash that like button, whatever the capitalists want to say about the YouTube and all that stuff. Like us on Kick, on Odyssey, on Rumble, on Twitch, Facebook. Share this with everyone. This is the true political voice. This is what we need as a political voice moving forward. This is what's going to bring change, not only in Alberta, but it's groundbreaking to, if we can get independent voted in Alberta, that just means that they can have independents voted in federal election in Canada. And then instead of having 2024 and having one of two old relics that don't like to take care of their people, maybe have an independent in the United States come 2024. So that's the change that we could have. Like we always say, if you want to support the show, go to my ko/fi.com/talking truth. But you could also support the show. Well, support the Ben Stelter Fund, working with the AM Nasty crew from Nielsen in the Morning on TSN, and made a great design. They had they did their Tales of the North, and it was Thunderbeard, and we did the mug there. So there is a frosted glass mug, as well as coffee mug, available at ballergear.ca, and all net profits donated to the Ben Stelter Fund, and that is Thunderbeard, aka Matthias Ekholm. If you want the t-shirts, you head over to nielsenmedia.ca/shop or amnasty.ca/shop, and you can get the Thunderbeard t-shirts, lady style, men's style, in black and white. Again, all net profits going to the charity of choice, which is the Ben Stelter Fund. Again, thanks very much to Funky Banjoko for joining us. It was a pleasure having you guys join us here. Next week, we'll have another special guest. We don't know who it is, but we're always talking truth, and we hope you're talking truth. We hope you have yourselves a great week, and we'll see you again soon.